All right, everyone, and we are live. So let me just check things out real quick. Um, what I want to do is try to get a couple of viewers before we play the video because I don't want to play it in vain of not having people here yet. So, is there anyone who would like to? Well, I guess I can introduce myself first. And then we can just go down the line. Okay. Hello, everybody. Those of you who will be watching this, who will tune in, I am Shabreon Howard, aka Shabreon The Advocate. I am a 32-year-old sickle cell warrior, SS warrior, and I am a filmmaker, photographer, writer, um, graphic designer. I'm a mother of a beautiful 8-year-old trait warrior, and I'm also the daughter of a sickle cell patient. My mother passed away from complications of sickle cell when I was 7 and she was 25 years old. So that is pretty much who I am, and I'm just going to pass it over to Brittany. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, I'm Brittany Hightower, Slay Queen of Slay the Sickle Cycle, and I have sickle cell anemia SS disease. I'm 33 and I live in Texas. The care here is horrible, and that's it.
All right, Kish, you want to introduce yourself really quick?
My name is Lakeisha Strayhorn. I am a mother of a sickle cell warrior, therefore, I am a warrior mother. Um, my son has a clothing line called Warrior, and I too am a sickle cell advocate. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, just relocated to Atlanta.
Stephanie, would you like to introduce yourself? You're muted.
Can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yes.
Ooh, what happened?
Uh-oh. All right, Aisha, just take it from here, and then we'll go
Okay.
back to there.
My name's Aisha Brima. I'm 35. I'll be 36 soon.
This one's the real one.
Um, I'm a warrior type SS. I live in New York. The care here sucks if you're a quote unquote frequent flyer. Um,
Everything sucks.
I'm a photographer, a writer, artist, and an advocate.
Awesome. All right, D'Angelo, you're up.
All right. My name is D'Angelo Simmons. I'm 43 SC hemoglobin. Uh, here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have a foundation called 365 Never Ending Fight. Uh, and what I speak to is the common denominator, which is sickle cell, and how to balance it out through life, every facet of life. Um, so that's it for now.
All
Can you
right,
hear me now?
Stephanie.
Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Hi, my name is Stephanie Starr. I am a 57, soon to be 8-year-old SS warrior. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I have all girls. I am an employee of the bookstore at my JC, and I'm an advocate.
Awesome. Okay. So I want to thank all of you for joining today. It is going to be a beautiful conversation. Sorry, you guys know I multitask, so I wear many hats. So just bear with me, bear with me. So again, thank you. Before we get started, though, we are going to play a video, um, a music video. I'm so excited. I love it, and I know you guys will too. Uh, it's called Warrior, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's called Warrior. Hold on, let me read this. Sorry, I had it in my head until I'm doing too much. So let me just go back real quick. I don't want to leave anything out. Okay, and the rapper's name is Razor, and the singer is Lakeisha Strayhorn. Yours truly, that's on the panel today, and it's featuring King, the sickle cell warrior, with the inclusion of many other warriors from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I'm super excited to present you all with this. So bear with me because it's been a minute since I shared my screen on here. So let me see what I'm going to do here. Okay, let me see.
There's a song called Warrior by Demi Lovato that makes me think of us a lot.
Does it? Okay. Let me see. I think this is it. Let me see. All right, that did nothing, right? Y'all. Oh, you know what? I see what I'm doing. Okay, I got it. I just needed a moment. That's all. I just needed a moment to slow my brain, and now I see it.
As much as you're on your computer.
Listen. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm all over the place, and I'm here at the same time. Do you understand? I'm present, yet I'm all over the place.
She's here, but she's not all there.
Okay, you can say that too. I'll take that. All right. So actually, you know what? I could do a tab, right? I could show the tab. I can. Look at that. I like this program. That's
and
nice.
100 years later.
Can you all see the screen?
It's yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Hold on, it's loading on the other side. So I just want to make sure it's going to play. Yeah, okay, got it.
I was born a king, but I was forced to be a warrior.
Yeah, 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 sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah. At my city on the ride, it's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I must survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. That's my city, I'm a rise. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I must survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. You're waking and feeling the fullness. I step in the building. It's gas. I look in the window. Don't care who the sin is. Hustling. I like my guy with the business. It's defeating me and my evil style with the beast. Devour my soul in the belly of the beast with an hour to go for the power of both. You stopping me while it's about to get slow. Tell my family to pray for me. I can hear them throwing shade on me. Black man with some things going. I done had some homies chains on me. I rise from the ashes and they mad. I can't let them get me out my bag. You can hear the warrior in my heart. You can see the warrior in my past. Woke up with a blessed day. I'm a king stuck in my set ways. What don't kill me, it's gonna make me stronger. I don't need a tap for you to see I'm scarred up. Uptown, east side, down the way, west side. All day on rest side. You got heart, come and test mine. Yeah, you got heart, come and test mine. Yeah, you got heart, come and test mine. Yeah, uptown, West side, all day on West Side. You got heart coming, test side. At my city, I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. As my city, I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. Now pray for my fallen soldiers, yeah. Till we meet again, I'm rolling, yes. My fight to win, I'm focused, yeah. And I fight to win, you know this, yeah. Kings, queens in my bloodline. Try to run the bloodline. Lord, no I'm on the inside. I feel like life has been leaving me lifeless. I'm born as a fighter. I fight every day in my life is treating me right sometimes. I feel like dying. I'm in the clouds. It's rain. I'm easy my veins. And food is the same. When it ain't got no flavor, it's crazy. How we live to you. Say, born to this pain. I'm a king. Royalty in my blood is in my genes. Feel like the world against me. It's a war. Been me taking more than strength to give me peace. I got my family with me. Ain't no chance up in me. If you stand against me, I am warning you. Ain't no enemy. Enemies is just the beginning. You're in the presence of a warrior. I'm a city. I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. As my city, I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior.
No matter the pain, no matter the storm, no matter the obstacle or barrier, I am and will forever be a warrior, and so are you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah. At my city, I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive. It's the drive of a warrior. Keep my head up to the sky. Realize I'm a warrior. At my city, I'm a ride. It's the pride of a warrior. You can see it in my eyes. I can't lie, I'm a warrior. Best believe I'ma survive.
Okay, hold on. My computer seems like it wants to be. Okay, there we go. Give me 1 second, guys. I am trying to fix. I don't know what it's doing, and it's okay. There we go. Jeez. All right. I'm bringing you on, Felicia. Give me 1 second. Okay. Did it not go? I don't know what is wrong with this thing today. Okay, there we go. All right. Were you all able to see and hear that? Because I saw it from the
it was
stream.
lagging and it was double wording.
Was it? I saw a delay, but I think it was just from the it delayed, like it comes a little later from here to Facebook, which is what I saw. Is there anyone else who saw it like that?
It was lagging.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
Yes.
it was
lagging pretty
it was
bad.
lagging and yeah, I couldn't. It was double words.
Yeah. It
You
overlapped.
couldn't even you
Really?
couldn't even hear the music for real.
It overlapped.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
it was
It's,
not good.
it's probably just
Um,
on the
can
program.
It was good
can
to
those of you who
me.
are watching us live, I know you guys didn't really have a chance to see it properly. Um, but I just want to make sure the audience hopefully didn't have the same issues. So because it didn't say it, no one says it here, so I'm hoping that they at least had a chance to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those of you who are watching, can you please let us know if you indeed saw the video, if it was giving you problems as well, because if so, I will try to fix
Overall, it
it.
was overall it was good to me. It did have some issues, but the message I feel got across, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And hi everybody. Sorry I'm late.
It's
I'm
okay. It
here.
happens. Well, just for everyone to know, this program does what it want to do. So I that's my apologies, but I will be posting this on the Warrior channel sometime either tonight or tomorrow morning, and I will share this so everyone will have the opportunity to see it in its entirety the correct way. Uh, so I apologize on behalf of the program, but
Well,
not much I can do about these people here on StreamYard. So, but I can do it from YouTube and all that. So I will do it properly and give it its due and its justice because it is a beautiful song and I love it and it's inspiring and I just feel like okay, yes, I'm
I
super
am a
happy.
warrior. Yeah, I liked it. They did a
Yeah.
good job to me. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, I know. I loved it. Nyla was dancing to it and everything.
Hmm. I mean, we got to
Yes,
give them kudos. We got to give them kudos for the work and the efforts that they did. I mean, we got to overlook the little glitches and really, critique what it was about. So that's my critique. I enjoyed it thoroughly. You can see the hard work they put into it. You
yeah,
know.
Yeah, it's a really good video when and then go back and really listen to the words and stuff like that. They really worked hard on the project, and I wanted to make sure that King has come a very long way from being 10 years old and wanting to commit suicide and just all the trials and tribulations. Next month he'll be 16 years old. So it's just a lot, and it's also a lot for other people. And when I say warrior, I include other people so we can show them what it means to be included and not excluded when it comes to being warriors, because they exclude
Yeah.
the population of people that endure sickle cell. So
Right.
sometimes we have to be the bigger person. We have to show them what it means to be a part of, and not
Mhm.
to be taken away from. So, warriors is anything when you get up and you go to battle or in battling
oh,
anything
you're breaking up a little bit.
within.
Am I the only one that hears her
No,
breaking up?
no, she's breaking up. She's breaking
No,
up.
I see it.
Life.
Okay.
That's very.
Okay. Try it again. Keish, you were breaking up. She's still frozen.
Am I still
Um.
frozen?
Yeah. It's the it's loading. Okay, you're back. Try to say something. Let's see if it works now.
Hello.
Yep.
Right.
This string gonna let us be great today. I know that.
I know it's such a hater, right? I'm like, come on, we was doing great on Thursday. I had all the. I was like, okay, no, it went off without a hitch, a glitch, or anything, and now today it's like, what happened? Okay, so I just want to say about the video. I love the video. I love the message at the end, especially. That was like one of my favorite parts. And I love the messages on the sickle cell patients, the warriors. So
Mm-hmm.
it was beautiful. I can't wait to actually share it so everyone can really see it. um, but are we waiting on anyone? I'm
Seen it
trying to.
before on Facebook.
Huh?
I said I've seen it before on Facebook.
Okay.
I think it's great.
What is going on with me in my vision right now? I don't understand. All right, y'all. So are we ready to dive into this topic at hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Cool. So we are getting into the mental health topic. We're going to be talking about overcoming hospital PTSD first. Now, I know, okay, we all can talk about this subject for like however
Ever.
long we've been on this earth. That's how long we talk about
Decades.
this that subject. So I will ask that we just kind of strictly and specifically focus on how we have overcome hospital PTSD because it's a real thing. You
Can we
know,
talk about how it started?
we can talk about how it started, but like, so when I say briefly, I mean, I know, we all know we get horrible treatment from hospitals and doctors. Everyone here, every patient can agree that the care anywhere in America is not up to par for a sickle cell patient. We don't always get treated properly. They're not always the best doctors. They always don't have our best, and the best intentions for us sometimes. So, with that said, you know, we can talk about the actual like what it is that what do we think that causes or caused the PTSD in one particular visit. We, like I said, we could talk about multiple, and I know that, but we still have to keep in mind that there is a panel of people, and we are also, we don't want to be here all day. So I will start just so that we can move it right along. Personally, I I will just go back to just the last horrible visit that I had, where I felt my life was in jeopardy. I felt like they did not want to listen to me about my concerns about my health. I am very knowledgeable about myself and about sickle cell, and I just felt like I was not taken seriously. And when I spoke up for myself, I was challenged. And then once I did not back down, I was I was treated horribly, and they thought they can try to chastise me in a way by removing my medications, and stuff like that. Um so with that being said, it was a very traumatic experience for me because when you're put in a situation when they don't want to let you go, they don't want to change, they don't want to like change doctors, they want to keep you as their patient, but they also want to treat you badly, and everyone in the hospital on the floor knew they were wrong, but no one was doing anything about it. All they could offer me was apologies. And personally, I felt like in the moment I was very angry was one of the words, but I was also very disappointed, and I really felt as if they wanted something bad to happen to me, and in feeling that way, it made me in turn try to get under one of the doctor's skin on purpose. Like, I know what I did. I know what I did. Listen, I'm really good with my words. If I want to hurt someone's feelings with my words, I can. I don't do it. I try not to, but when I'm in the moment of something like that and I feel traumatized and I feel triggered, I was like, okay, no, this, okay. So I pressed buttons that I know I could push. And he got upset and stormed out and was, and everybody coming in, well, what did you say? I said the truth. I didn't say anything that wasn't true. I just said the truth. And how I overcame that, because it was traumatic, I did have really hard time sleeping once I got home. I was very I try so hard not to like close myself off, because when you go through something like that, especially like for myself, I don't have a lot of family. Most of my family passed away. So it makes me feel more alone, because I didn't have anyone to really turn to and come and help me in that type of situation. So it put me, well, it tried to put me in a depression. That's another subject. But how I overcame it was basically reminding myself that I am important, not just to myself, but to my daughter. If no one else, she's dependent on me to be okay. So I had to pick up whatever, I just had to pick up the pieces, and I had to realize there is more to it than that. And I wrote letters. I spoke to my local politicians. I filed complaints. I rated the head doctor on health grades. I did what I knew to do to ensure that this person or this doctor could at least see that what she did was wrong, and how she went about it was totally uncalled for and unprofessional. So I made sure that I did what I needed to do to make sure it wouldn't happen to myself again, especially in that hospital, because I have to go to that hospital, but also that the hospital would be put on notice. So if she did it to anyone else, hey, there's paperwork, there's a record. And in doing that, I still made a choice to talk about my experience. I did a video. I posted a video, and I talked about my experience. I tagged the hospital. I did what I could to make sure I was going to let it out and not keep it in and not internalize the issues that they tried to give me in the hospital. So that's pretty much how I overcame that situation. I did a lot of prayer, and I tried to meditate some, because it puts you in a different headspace, and you just need to kind of climb out of there, claw your way however you need to get there. That's basically what happened. Um, so that's my experience. Anyone else would like to go?
Sure, why not?
Mine's happened a few years ago. I was in the hospital for a while, and then how the doctors change. So the doctors changed, and there was this doctor who swore I was on too much medicine, and decided not to wean me off, but to take me off all my medicine. And didn't discuss it with me, he just did it. And they're like, once I was suffering, I was like, but what if I go into a crisis? What if it's not just withdrawal? She was like, oh, well, you're going to go through withdrawal. I was like, okay, but what about if I go into a crisis? Oh, if you go into a crisis, we'll give you something for pain. I ended up going through withdrawal and having a crisis. And then the doctor comes to my room and goes, oh, well, you're just going to have to deal with it. I was like, are you kidding me? I remember getting so depressed that all I could think about was ending my life. I was like, I can't deal with this. I can't suffer like this. And I remember going into the bag I take with me to the hospital. I found the mirror. I broke the mirror, and I tried to cut my wrist. I can't really say that I ever got over it, Now, every time my pain increases a bit, I freak out about going back to the hospital and possibly having to deal with it again. I'm not going to say I got over it. Like, it just makes me fear of going into the hospital. So now I only go to the hospital when I'm screaming my head off and can't tolerate it anymore. Like, I'll prolong going to the hospital as long as possible.
Okay.
I have a similar situation. I'm in the hospital now, if you can't tell. Um, and this is distraction therapy for me, really, because they just fear so much the medication because they don't understand the disease and the need for it because they're used to treating certain things. So I've had all that happen. I've been assaulted, and so you just don't want to go because you don't want to deal with that. So I know how that feels to be at a state where you just like, I would have thoughts of like just bleeding out, like just open up the line and bleed out the line. Because I have the line that they place the catheter.
The portacath?
Yeah, for because I had an exchange, and so you get these ideations in your head because you like, who wants to deal with this? And it's something I'll never get over because it constantly happens. It's not just a one time thing. So you have to worry about if you're going to get assaulted, if you're going to get the po-pos to kick you out. If you go on my Facebook right now, there's a video, and I got so many people calling me, telling me they couldn't even watch it because it was making grown men cry, you know. And it's like we have to do something to change it because it's just going to keep happening, and we're too valuable of a people to just die off. We just kind of have to fight it. So I do get up the courage to come, but it takes a lot, and you just expect the unexpected. So when it happens, you don't get mad. You have to just prepare yourself for the worst to happen, and it's just sad.
But what I don't get is why it's so easy to get a nurse in trouble, but like, at least in my experience, like if I call customer service or whatever, it's hard as hell to get a doctor in trouble. Like, they always side with the doctor.
Right.
And then when you're sick, you don't want to have to do all of that work because you're sick.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times they get pushed to the side, and it's just like, okay, I dealt with that, so I just have to deal with it because it's a lot of work to get a doctor in trouble.
It is. They kind of listen. That's that seniority. That's that power he comes with his title, or he or she comes with. Uh, but the most devastated moment or trauma I've had in my life was actually at a conference, one of our sickle cell education summits. I forget what number, but we were at Drew University, and the speaker was talking about back in the day how they deliberately did treatment to discourage folks with sickle cell from coming to the hospital. And I was like, is this a real thing? Because I experienced it. And
Yep.
the thing was that they deliberately wouldn't give IV meds, and they would deliberately give you the shot in your muscle in your butt, thinking that that was going to deter you from coming to the hospital or from saying that you were sick. And I thought that was sick, that they were sick in the head to even have that idea. And I was in the audience crying because right now, today, across the lower part of my back, I can rub and feel because I used to get so many shots in my muscle, in my gluteus maximus, And that is still sore to this day. And I keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. But I didn't know as a child that that was a deliberate tactic. And I would call for pain meds, and I would be wondering sometimes what would be taking them so long. And then one time, my mom just went out into the hallway and started screaming, "Give her meds right now! Get in here! Get," because I was in pain, and we were waiting. And you're young, you can't advocate for yourself that way. And so just to see my mom go through that for me, it was just painful. And then to learn that it was a best practice at one time to deliberately want to give a sickle cell patient shots because they thought that that would deter them from, like we come into the hospital lying, about this tremendous pain we go through. Why would somebody want to lie? Why would somebody want to lie and come to the hospital about being in pain to get narcotics? I mean, I'm not a drug addict like they try to say, drug seeker. I just can't imagine, and a little girl, like I wasn't even a teenager. I was like, in single digits. It was found when I was 6 years old, so it had to be between that time, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. It happened, and I'm a little girl, and you are deliberately doing what you think is best practice, which is causing really harm. And I just cried. I just cried. I was so upset because I was one of those kids that they were doing that to. And I didn't know that that's why they were doing it. And when I heard that information, I was just devastated. I couldn't believe it that that was a best practice at that time. It's crazy. It was just crazy.
They told me that they didn't give IV medicine because it was more addictive.
My most recent traumatic situation in a hospital happened a few years ago. And I was in the hospital, but I was not on my normal floor. And I was on the med surge floor, but they didn't deal with ports or anything. No mother should have to call their daughter and tell her, please bring me Tylenol. These people are going to kill me because I had a fever. They weren't, they didn't do cultures. I was there for days and they refused to give me Tylenol. She had to come and sit with me. And she did bring the Tylenol, and I did take it. And she stayed with me until I got to my floor. Don't go to that floor. I'm not ever going to go to that floor. It's not going to happen. But equally traumatizing to me is we have a patient that we advocate for. And this is recently, this is like in the last few months. And watching her have to sit there and cry and cry and cry for hours because they took her medication away. For somebody to tell her, aren't you tired of crying yet?
Ooh.
To watch her every single time she goes to the hospital, knowing that it's going to be really difficult. I that we're still not over, and it's not even happening to us. It's happening to our patient. And
Whoever can, everyone mute themselves, please, so that that doesn't happen.
I don't know if I don't know how with this person it happens every time, and this is something that as an advocate you get to deal with. You get to find a way. Where do you put that? Because there's no way in the world this person deserves it. This is beyond, oh, she's just drug seeking. No, this is next level you can't believe kind of stuff. I have no right to complain having seen what has been done to this person. And this happens right here in America. How she is strong enough to stand through what happens to her is absolutely the grace of God, because no human being could put up on a regular basis with what she goes through. And she is definitely a warrior queen. And it's sad that it's just beyond sad that she has to go through that. And this is what happens when we have to advocate for our own. We we see it, you know. We know that if they knew that the person they were talking to had sickle cell, that they would be thinking the exact same thing about us that they're saying to our patient. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. But you do it because they deserve better. And however we're going to make the better happen,
Absolutely.
we're going to make the better happen, because this is not cool. This is not acceptable at all.
I absolutely agree with you, Stephanie. It's not right. Nothing about it is right. I don't think there's one right answer. I think there's multiple answers to what is happening to us, and I think the only way we can all answer that is if we all come together, and that's the purpose of what I'm trying to do and accomplish here. So I just want to thank and commend you all for being a part of this and for sharing your stories, because I know it gets deep. Trust me. Is there anyone else that would like to share their story? Okay, D'Angelo, before we go on.
Okay. Real quick. I got a few. I'm gonna make them short though. My first encounter uh, was at 17. I found myself addicted to morphine um, early on, and the way that happened was I found myself. They would come in while I'm asleep, and they would give me shots in my IV without me even asking for it, without me even calling saying I need pain meds. And the reason I found out, because I would get up to think I'm using the bathroom. I would go in the bathroom, come back out, and go back to sleep. And the doctor came in about to give me another shot. And I said, why you keep shooting me up with this morphine? I didn't even ask for it. And she was like, well, D'Angelo, when the last time you used the bathroom? I said, well, I just used it. And when I tell you, it looked like I was 6 months pregnant, because the morphine stopped me from using the bathroom. And I found myself, that was the first situation, me being just getting addicted to the morphine, finding myself in emergency rooms for no reason due to the medication that they exposed me to when I was young. Just thank God I got allergic to it. So that was that situation. And I had another situation where I was in there with pneumonia in both my lungs. And the fact that I was eating, they was about to discharge me. They said, well, if he can eat, there's nothing wrong with him. So just dealing with that situation, I had to figure out how to stay out of these folks' face, right? And the PTSD that come from the hospitals, I don't think you would ever get over it. That's something I speak about just in the groups I hold here in Cincinnati, because you would never get over it, because you always gonna find yourself back in them folks' face, back into these emergency rooms, back into these doctor's appointments. You know, I know we speak a lot about hospitals and for as emergency rooms for us getting admitted, but even the appointments when you gotta go to your regular doctor appointment, the follow-up, the checkup, and you gotta meet these new doctors every time once your old doctor retired. And you gotta go through the same song and dance to try to convince them that you're not a crackhead or you're not a seeker of drugs. So that brings anxiety. So I don't think that you will ever get over the PTSD. It's just more or less managing it. And the way I manage it is it's just about taking charge of my own health as much as I can. And when I do have to go, bring someone with me if I can, who can advocate for me if I'm not in the right state of mind to speak for myself. Because they will mistreat you. They will dog you out. They will, if you're not in tune with yourself, they will mistreat you in these hospitals, and I don't think it will ever stop. And I know there's times where I want to give doctors names, like on a platform like this. If we was able to speak out and start naming these doctors, naming these locations, then maybe that would be a way to change and start to change. And we know
I
it's
don't mean to
hard
cut
to.
you off, but who said we couldn't?
Yeah.
No, but see, the point I'm making is, who said we couldn't? We can, but we got to also be prepared for the kickback. The kickback would be because once they label your chart and put them adjectives inside your chart,
That
then
follows you. You're right.
so now
Yeah.
Red flagging you.
so now you got a whole nother battle. So
Right.
so the best way we're gonna have, I don't know how to do it one day. I thought about is wearing a ski mask and doing a video. No face, no case, to be honest, because that's the only way we're really gonna make some type of change if we start putting names to these stories. Getting walked out of certain hospitals here in Cincinnati by the police, or they kick you out, go back to UC with that because I know my protocol. When you go to the emergency room and you tell them give me 2 cc's of Dilaudid, Finnegan, Toradol, Benadryl as needed, they looking at you like you crazy.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
Right.
Makes
So,
no
Right.
sense.
so,
Makes
And
no
then usually they try to give you half of what you
but
you
that,
actually get.
but that's the point I'm making. When you go in there, I'm 43 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. I know what it works.
Exactly.
I'm trying to save your time and my time.
Right.
So
Right.
giving me .7 on a PC pump that holds out every 5
10
minutes,
minutes.
something like that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You always behind the 8 ball of pain. So
Right.
the best is gonna keep, which I don't know who said it, but when you go through things like that and it's time to go to the hospital, that triggers a whole nother mental effect on top of your pain.
Right.
Because you got to go in here and deal with these students, because you see it's full of students. Deal with these students that's shooting you 12 times just to get an IV.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I fight tooth and nail to maintain at home. You see what I'm
12
saying? Mind, like literally mind, body, and soul. I'm not perfect at it, but
Right.
I embody the definition of pain management, and it's deeper than a narcotic. But I don't
Right.
think I don't think we will ever get over the PTSD long as we living with sickle cells.
Right.
And that
How
just
many, how many people take the time out just a little bit extra time to go presentable because you think you look nice, and even though you're in a lot of pain, but if you just look a little nice, you might get a little
Just a
better
little.
service.
Oh God,
A
no.
little.
If you do that, then they're gonna say, you look fine, you're well. You don't
Yeah,
look
I
No.
know.
No. No.
I look
No.
when I dress up, I get the best service. When I don't feel like it, it just like, oh, I'm like, I'm the same person.
I
No. They
once got
be like
discharged for
you're a
knitting.
bum.
See, the
You
My
thing
look
about
hands
it
like a
weren't
is,
bum.
hurting and I was discharged for knitting. Try that. It was like,
the
if you can knit,
Yeah.
then you can go home. I was like, what's my
Right.
knitting got to do with what's hurting me?
the thing about it is this is what I don't understand, and this is a problem. So I know for a fact that they teach they teach medical assistants, they teach EMTs, and they teach nurses that chronic pain changes your brain. They teach that. For me, it's the fact that you can put aside anything that remotely looks like logic and just go along with the doctor that said, oh, we're drug seeking, or just suspend all logic, because we all know that if it was just drugs, I could get them DoorDashed here and not have to leave my house. So
Yeah,
Right.
anymore,
Not
okay?
the DoorDash drug dealer.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I wanted. DoorDash it to my house. I don't gotta move. Okay.
no.
So
Right.
why is it that they are allowed to totally suspend logic? Because if they did that to a cancer patient, you know
Mm.
what would happen.
I
But
mean,
they're
but just
allowed.
it's not just logic though, Stephanie. It's more than logic. It's science. It'd be different it was like, oh, that's common sense. No, it's science,
I agree.
scientifically proven,
It's against what
factual
they're taught.
evidence
It's
that
against,
this is real,
yeah, it's
Right,
So,
against
right.
what they're taught for everybody else. But they are
Mm-hmm.
warned about us. We are the big bad boogeyman. For everybody else, they are taught that, um, if somebody has cancer, if somebody has a heart attack, you treat that pain. If they get addicted, we'll figure that out later because life first and then other stuff. But when it comes down to us,
Well, yeah.
switch. I have a
Well,
god sister who had been a drug addict. She does not have sickle cell. She'd been a drug addict, cleaned up finally, doing good. Had a heart attack, bad heart attack. Of course, they gave her pain medication because to be in pain, you can die from just being in enough pain. So they gave her the pain medicine, knowing her history, knowing that she had been a drug addict and how long it took her to get off medications. But life first,
Right,
pain control first. We'll fix the rest later.
But some
right.
doctors believe that we black women could tolerate more pain than the average person.
Black people.
yeah,
black
Yes.
and
people, and
that,
that
yeah,
goes with the racist
yeah,
ideologies that we're faced with in the United States. You
yeah.
know, it's
The
racially
hospital
based.
system
It is
is
racially
built
based.
on racism, all the isms. That's what the hospital system is built on.
You
So
know,
that's why
and
it's so
definitely
difficult for us to get proper care because you can't, it's like, if you don't have the right insurance, the right money,
Yeah.
it's just like the judicial system. They're all connected. They're all tied in together because their values and what they were built on is the same. So
Like, I think it's sad when you got to bring your own medicine to the hospital in
Girl,
case they don't want to treat you. You sitting there popping pills that you know don't work just so you can
preach.
have something in your system.
yeah.
Something real quick.
I have to
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
wait
Well,
24 hours.
it's
So I get medicated.
it's a panel that we used to do. We haven't done it in a while since COVID, where I speak on different panels here, where we speak to doctors and nurses that's coming out of college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I do with them is just to let them know that we more than just our chart, because a lot of the time
Right.
Yes.
they don't know the man or the woman. They see your chart. When they see your chart, they're looking at your opiate intake. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's a lot of doctors here where I had to lightweight check them, let them know like it's really like an interview with these doctors. You really get an interview.
Right.
You really got to know the right thing to say. You see what I'm saying? Because as soon as they walk into your room or you walk into that doctor's office, they sizing you up. So it was to the point where I started bringing my resume because
Mm.
it's deeper. I'm deeper than a Percocet 30 and an OxyContin 80 and all these other narcotics. You see what I'm saying?
right.
So I had to show them how I take medication. So to say that is just let you know that it's a game that you really have to play to get the certain treatment. You know what I mean? And it takes years to develop that game and know how to navigate that system. And even then you're gonna get tripped up, regardless of what.
Yeah,
So
I mean, no, I totally agree and understand what he's saying because when I go to the hospital, I do things for me, but also to show the human side of me, if that makes sense. So like I'll take my daughter's blanket just so that I can have something of her with me. And my daughter, she has like teddy bears and stuff that she gives me to take. So I'll take the teddy bear. But I also take, well, we all know I work quite a bit. So I take things like, the book that I publish. I take my notebooks and my laptop so that they can see me being productive and rarely ever has any. That's why it's like and I'm grateful that I haven't had that because I don't have doctors or nurses like, oh, you're working, you're feeling fine, you can go home. I haven't had that situation happen to me. I think I've had the quite opposite response, which is when I've had a nurse before that she thought she knew who I was just She thought I was just there for the medication. I had been in the hospital for a while at this point, and it was around the time where I was putting together, I was organizing the film festival that I did a few years ago. And every time she would come in, mind you, she was my nurse in the morning. I don't sleep at night in the hospital. So
Mm-hmm.
in
Me
the morning,
neither.
I am asleep. So
Mashed out.
she didn't realize that and put two and two together, even though my nurse in the night would tell her, hey, she didn't sleep all night, so she's going to be sleeping. And she comes into the room and she sees me doing work and see all the many things in front of me. She's like, oh wow, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm putting together, film festival. And her whole attitude changed, her whole treatment, the stuff she was saying to the doctors changed, everything just changed. And I'm like, why is it that you have to see me being productive for you to understand that my life matters? Like,
Right.
why, why do you have to see me? Yes, this is my natural element, but also I don't feel good. Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna pull it out when I'm gonna pull it out. It ain't gonna come out when, just for show. And so I'm grateful that I haven't had that, experience. I've literally had nurses and other doctors come into my room. Oh, I wanted to meet you. Your doctor has been bragging about you and you got all this going on. And, doctor's so proud of you. And it makes me feel great, but it also makes me feel like
Mhm. Like, wow.
I'm not I'm not the I feel like a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit. I'm grateful that my doctor feels proud and wants to tell people about all the stuff I have going on. But I also feel like, oh, look at this good patient doing
Mm.
what's right. And it's like I'm not the only one.
No,
And
That's so
just
absolutely.
because
stupid and weird to me
It's
because,
happening,
like,
so
it
horrible.
shouldn't define the care that you get because
right.
I will have stuff out and I'm like, girl, I run a whole organization. So if
Okay.
I'm not doing that, there's something wrong. But if I am doing that, there's still something wrong because
Yeah.
I'm still in pain and I'm literally just trying to distract myself so I don't cuss you out.
Right.
And they like to get cussed out. I don't know why they like that. And then when you do cuss them out, they call in security. Like, which one do you want? But
Right.
like that should not define the care that you get because I know how to deal with pain does not mean I'm not in pain. And
Exactly.
you should not have to know who I am as a whole outside patient person to treat me accordingly. What does that
Right.
matter to you?
Right.
I need them all to huddle up a little bit, like because as pediatrics, we're taught the art of distraction. What do they get? The
Mm-hmm.
Right,
video games, coloring books,
Right.
right.
Come on now.
Playgrounds.
jewelry to
Ain't
make,
no
all
playing
types
up
of
in
stuff.
here.
But when you try that as an adult, you're too well to be in the hospital.
Right. I need
Right.
y'all to huddle up because y'all ain't
Yeah.
Right. Get on
connected
the
to the
same
same. It's
page.
not. It's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. Like you guys are not hearing each other or something because
That's
it's
I had
Right.
not.
a
right.
doctor come into the room one time and say, "Oh, every time I come in here, you're on your phone." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm just trying to distract myself. I don't sleep at night, so
Nope.
they take me off my medicine because they're like, 'Oh, you sleep all day. You're on too much medicine.' No, I sleep all day because I don't sleep at night."
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
but what I've learned is like I also teach. So
Mm,
I teach the student nurses, I teach the residents, and I teach the med students. Once they hit residence after their residency, they don't listen to a thing you have to say. But I notice when I teach them as med students and residents,
Mm-hmm.
they'll listen. Like I've taught doctors about compassion. I've taught
Right.
them about, I was like, look, we're not drug seekers. I'm saying, I was like, there's some people that come and they drug seek. And they'll ask me, Aisha, how do you know when your patient's drug seeking? I was like, I know this sounds difficult, but as a doctor, especially if your patient is a frequent flyer, you got to get to know the person they are. And But even if they come in, you can't say, oh, well, they're back for the third time this year, so they're just drug seeking. No, you have to, like, I've also had doctors say to me, oh, well, I know you since you were such and such age. And when you're sick, you really act like this. You don't act like that. And when I'm trying to act differently, then I'm well. So I've had to teach doctors a few things about us. I was like, look, sickle cell patients, we don't like you. We don't trust you. But why do we come here? Because we have no choice. We don't have a choice and we can't suffer at home. We're not going to just sit there and die. So we have no choice but to come in here and put our lives in your hand. But we don't want to be here. It's like, you know what I wanted to do today? I wanted to go see a baseball game. I wanted to go to a party.
So many other better things to do with our lives. I mean, I can literally sit and watch paint dry. I would rather watch paint dry than go to the hospital. Do you hear me? I would
Mhm.
rather paint the
Shut up.
sidewalk with my tongue than go to the hospital. Do you hear me? I would rather walk on nails
Yeah.
across the fire pit than go to the hospital. We don't want to
Okay.
be there.
Right. Don't
Long
nobody
story
want to
short.
be there.
And then don't think about how long you got to sit in the ER. That
Well,
is torturous because
I
you'll be in the
pray up.
waiting room for 2, 3 hours, and then they finally call you, and then the nurse takes an hour and a half to bring your medicine if they can get an IV.
Girl, 14
A
hours.
lot of
Try
doctors and
14.
nurses don't know anything about
Woo,
a porta calf,
14.
and you got to
14
find
hours,
the right
yes.
person to access a porta calf so you don't get an infection and die
Right,
or need a new port. Like, there's
right.
a lot
That's
we
why I
have to
set
go
my
through.
intentions. I set my intentions before I go. I be working on them with my spirit before I even get there. I be praying, okay, let
Yep.
tonight be
Yep.
smooth. Let it be a good staff. Okay. I don't want to
Yep.
be sitting there for hours. I mean, I just set my intention. The parking space is gonna be there. I'm gonna go right in. They're gonna be able to and lately it's been working. Lately it's been working. So,
Like, I'll
just
go into the hospital screaming my head off, like, because that's the only way I'm going to the hospital. I got to be screaming my head off. And then they're like, well, calm down. You crying ain't going to solve anything. It's
and
not going to make you bring your
and they ain't
medicine.
right about that. They
It's not
right.
going to make
It
me
just
bring your
makes it
medicine
worse.
any faster. Or you're disturbing the
I
other
think that makes
patients.
them work. I think that makes them work against you even more. I
It
find
In
does.
out
some
for
cases,
me,
it does. In some
It
cases,
does.
like, they'll tell me, "Oh, well, you're disturbing the other patients." I'm like, "Look, I'm not screaming just for attention. I'm in a hell of a lot of
Exactly.
pain." And then some nurses will bring my medicine faster just so I can shut up. They're like, "Oh, this will put her to sleep. Here's your medicine."
I
But
understand.
I
I
think
understand, but
that
that is
I have
damaging.
some doctors.
That is really damaging to our body. That kind of stress
yes,
too. And
yes.
I'm just asking, you got to be careful with that. But I understand because I used to do that too. I thought the louder I got, the quicker. And it's like that saying, you get more honey, which I mean, get more bees with honey or whatever. However that saying go, flies with honey or whatever.
And
Be
vinegar,
a
yeah.
No, I've had some
be a
doctors.
little
As soon as they saw
sweeter
I had sickle cell,
than
they'll see me faster. But yeah, but then it's still got to wait for the nurse, and the nurse is like, "I got
that.
multiple patients, and this one seeing this one."
Hmm.
And I'm
I'm
like,
Now,
okay,
my
I
like,
nurse
will
I'm not
told
say
me,
rushing
But
you,
I
but
sometimes
will
we gotta
say
practice patience too.
I will say
So
that I am blessed. I'm very, 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 very
Mhm.
blessed
Mhm.
because regardless of the fact how they acted on the first floor of my hospital where I will never go again, my team on the third floor of Memorial Hospital in Santa Rosa, California,
now,
3E, they rock. They really do take good care of me. They come ask me if I'm ready to go home. If I'm not ready to go home, they go talk to the doctor and they're like, no, she's not leaving. No, it's not going to happen. So I think that I've been here for 8 years, and it wasn't easy in the beginning, but the issues that I was having was from the narcotics. The narcotics were causing, opioid constipation, And I would go in the hospital and I have like I get it. I got like the bowel care from I just it's all the bowel care, okay? And they would look at that and say, "Oh my God, you're gonna have that." No, 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 no. This is what I take at home. I need you to live that way. So my nurses started realizing that when they don't just do it, we have problems, and my care gets extended 2 to 3 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
they now are I
They
don't even
get
have
it.
to write anything. They got my meds. They're checking the chart. They're calling the doctor before I even get to the floor, talking about, oh, you left this out, you left that out, and that has been very helpful. But also, I do not take morphine and hard narcotics anymore. I was able to switch over to Subutex,
Oh,
and
nice.
life is just I can't even tell you how much better life is on that drug. I haven't been in the hospital in 8 months, and I was going 1 and 2 times a month when I was
What is
under
the name of it?
It's Suboxone.
Subutex.
I didn't
Um,
hear.
I'll put it in the chat. That's the name brand of it.
The Suboxone.
You can get no Subutex doesn't have Suboxone in it. There is
Mm-hmm.
a version you can get that does have Suboxone in it, but Subutex is buprenorphine, which is a type of
Oh.
narcotic that is a much lower
Hmm.
dose and it works differently, which I was shocked at how
Mm.
easy it was to come off. I don't think I would have been as thrilled to try it if my pain management doctor had told me ahead of time that I was the first person he was transitioning off of narcotics. Hey, it worked, so we're gonna roll with it. And so I've been taking that for at least 3 years now,
Okay.
and I
Mm.
get narcotics when I'm in the hospital, and it's a relatively low dose because I also still get the Subutex. That has changed my whole life, like for real and
Wow.
serious.
Well, I
Getting
need
on,
to know what that is. Yeah, put it
I
in the
know,
chat.
That's
right?
awesome.
Put
Okay,
it in
okay,
the
everyone. It's time to transition. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut y'all off, but we already been here for an hour, so I don't want us to go over time. So let's get into anxiety and depression. I know there is lots to say about that as well. So again, let's try our best to be brief. Um, you know, I think personally for myself, depression, I've been dealing with off and on for since I was 7, since my mother passed away. Um, and just having the same illness that she had and just not having her anymore and realizing how serious this illness can truly get. And then losing my dad. And I think a lot of my depression really came from just the loss that I faced in my life. I don't even really think the sickle cell depression hit until I was a young adult. Um, and I dealt with it until I literally one day I dealt with it in silence until I talked about it um publicly. So giving it light and taking that power from dealing with it in silence really helped me to put things into perspective and do better for myself. Um I can honestly say I there are rare occasions now where I deal with depression, which is a blessing because to go from being depressed for most of the year to like now it may be I can't even tell you the last time I was depressed. So that is something that I struggle with and I feel like for the most part I have conquered. Um, and I know it's an ongoing battle. I'm not saying it's over, but I'm saying I've learned to deal with it better. And also, I've found therapeutic ways to deal with my issues. I found ways to process my grief, process my anger, because my grief turned into anger. And I was a very angry person for a very long time. And I had, my anger issues were I was quick to fight. Do you hear me? And you know, I had to really I had to put that away. So I really disassociate myself with anger now, because now I know that it stemmed from me not processing my mother's death. It stemmed from me not processing my father's death and the emotions that I felt because of it. Um, I think it has definitely been something that is still, again, I'm still working. I'm not perfect, but I'm nowhere near where I used to be. I'm nowhere, like, it really takes a lot to get out of a rise out of me now. Um, Specifically when it comes to words, I'm not bothered by words from people. I think that it's funny when people try to purposefully turn me into an angry person. I think it's hilarious. Which is That's growth, okay? So in having that and knowing that, and then my main issues, I think, is a lot of anxiety. Um, I'm a lot better than I was with anxiety as well. Even earlier this year, I was more anxious than I am now. I was taking anxiety medication. I cannot tell you the last time I've taken my anxiety medicine. Um, but I I feel like a lot of it just stems from everything, like all responsibility in my life is on me. There is no shared responsibility anywhere. So it just makes me anxious. I wouldn't say I worry. It just makes me on edge about a lot of things. Um, so especially specifically being a single mom, I always have to have the answers. And even before the question is even asked, I have to have the answers. And I think that it does play a vital role in my anxiety. But I'm dealing with it, and I'm happy that I have reached this point. Honestly, I'm not saying it to like sound like, oh, I'm perfect. I ain't perfect, okay? I have good days and bad days. But when I tell y'all I am the happiest, I am at peace and happy, and I don't know if y'all see this natural glow, like, because I know I got makeup on, but it's like coming from internally. I'm walking in my purpose. I'm happy. I genuinely love my life, and I love my daughter. I love the life that we have together. And the things that used to bother me just so minimal now. It doesn't really matter in retrospect, in the bigger scheme of things. Um, so that's how I feel. I mean, I think I was quick, sweet, to the point. Anyone else want to go?
I'm gonna tell you how my anxiety just go back some years. When you see other sickle cell fighters pass away from sickle cell, that triggers my anxiety. Um, I just now started seeing a therapist last year, November. I believe sickle cell patients should have therapists starting in Children's Hospital.
Reach.
They should have it. It should be mandatory
It should be required.
to walk
Yep.
with them, to walk with them through life, because dealing with surgeries, dealing with getting stuck 4 o'clock in the morning every day in the hospital for blood count, uh, all that plays a part on your psyche. You see what I'm saying? So I believe that one thing that I use to get over to deal with my anxiety, I do have a therapy dog now, because it's all about distraction. You see what I'm saying? It's all about distraction, because we can have anxiety, depression due to sickle cell, but the narcotics that they provide to us also trigger anxiety and depression as well. So you kind you getting it from both ends. But I know just me seeing patients pass away, going to funerals. Uh, I had a few close calls to the point where it had me scared to go to sleep. To the point I stay up till I pass out. That's the only way I was able to go to sleep. But dealing with anxiety, I use a lot of different things, a lot of different tools. Force 365, never ending fight. I use graphic arts as a mean of expression to get them thoughts out of my head. Some of them thoughts turn into beautiful art. Uh, go for walks. Like I said, my therapy dog conversations like this that we have. That's why I started my podcast to talk to people around the world with sickle cell. Uh, but the main thing what helped me was my son. My son, but once again, I put all my energy into him when he was growing up. I've been stopped fighting for me. But what I wasn't prepared, and I would tell anybody, as your son grow up, if that's the reason that you fighting, them kids grow up. And when they grow up, they leave. Now you got to find another reason to live. You see what I'm saying? You got to find another reason to fight. And it took me years to find my next, my other reasons. But I think anxiety is it's an uphill battle. It's an everyday struggle. Depression is an everyday struggle. But I believe that we should have a therapist. We should, you know, a therapist, a drug coach, a life coach. These are tools that's necessity for people who fight, a chronic illness such as sickle cell anemia. But that's that.
Right. I
If I
wanted to
were
say
running the
something.
world, and we are so glad that I'm not, but if I were running the world before any child got to school, like kindergarten, just like you have to go get a physical, you would have to go also see a psychiatrist and do it every year because one, that would make the stigma about mental illness that comes with being in certain cultures and whatever, if it were the law that you had to do that, then that kind of diminishes the stigma. But also, I think it would be the best way to end this whole war on drugs thing because people that are addicted, they know when there's something wrong with them. They just may not have the ability because of culture and whatever to go to feel that it's okay to go to a therapist. I know that at my school there are people that come into the bookstore and that like this person needs to be working with the disabled students or working with the therapist, but their culture's like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. My parents won't let me do that. I can't do that. Then, if it were legal, we would be able to catch people from self medicating. But I
You're
agree with
breaking
you.
up, Stephanie.
I agree with you about everybody with chronic illness uses therapy.
Mhm. Indeed.
Is this on Facebook or YouTube or where is this
Yeah,
streaming?
and
Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off, but you're breaking up really bad, and I don't want to like miss what you're trying to say.
can you
Streaming on Facebook and YouTube.
Thank you.
All right, so can you all hear me? Okay,
Yes.
are you guys able to hear me?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
yes, I can hear you.
Oh no. Okay, can you hear? What happened?
I would. Um,
I can
I
hear you.
Kimberly,
I just
I
I
don't
have
mean
the.
to I don't mean I we haven't heard from Kimberly this whole time. So
I
I want to
know.
give Kimberly the opportunity.
Where is Kimberly?
she's muted.
She's muted. Are you still there, Kimberly? I'm sorry, I was just got distracted. All right.
Can I
After
say something?
Kimberly, I would like to say something,
Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
if
Yes,
I can.
I was just going to call on you. You were next.
Um,
Go ahead.
I would like to speak in regards to depression and anxiety. As a parent, I go through that with my son. A lot of times, people um, don't understand the closeness and the bond that you have with your children. Um, so there are times where people will be like, "Oh, you're so strong," but I'm strong for my son. But at the end of the day, that is something that is internalized that I have to hold and I have to carry. Um, there's not a moment, there's not a minute that my life is not reflected or my choices are not reflected upon my son. And I'm in Cincinnati, he's in Atlanta, but at the end of the day, like he wanted to go swimming. Swimming is really not your friend, but we have certain rules and regulations. It has to be a certain temperature. The sun has to be shining on the water. It has to be hot. When you get out, make sure you're not in shade, different things like that, certain foods and things like that. So I make sure that my life, certain things are put on hold, or I won't go to certain places. Or I do isolation too, because I have to make sure that my son knows that he's okay and know that he matters. Because a lot of times my son will say, if he gets sick, "I'm sorry, mom." My son has, I call them anniversary crisis, where he's always sick on my birthday. He's always sick on my husband's birthday. He's always sick on his birthday. So for years, I never celebrated my birthday. For years, my husband, we didn't do anything. For years, King has never had a birthday celebration because I cannot plan anything, because I know July, I know October, I know January, I know September, he's going to have a crisis. So not only do the patients go through depression, anxiety, parents do as well. Um, because it's a lot of things that you internalize, that you hold, and you have to constantly fight, and you have to sometimes put your feelings to the side. I always have to advocate. Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, no, I don't play. His chart has been flagged because I've been accused of pushing the button for my son for medication when the nurse didn't come in 30 minutes. So you're accusing me of pushing a button. So I told them, let's sit at the round table, because my scarf is on my head tonight because I'm getting ready to go to bed. But when you wake up in the morning, we're going to sit at the round table because I'm just as educated as you are. And that's why next week I graduate with my master's, so I can then have my own private practice, so I can include people like us. That is the reason why I have my master's in social work, so they can look at someone that is a reflection of them and know that it's okay to talk, know that it's okay to feel a certain type of way and express themselves and not whisper, but come to the mountain as a roar and understand that we are warriors. I take this journey personal. This is personal for me to get this degree. And I'm not saying, a lot of people, especially our own kind, put people down that want to go to school or different things like that. It's not about the paper. It's about me coming into the room
That's right.
and
Then
speaking the same language and understanding the things that they talk to us and they feel that we don't understand. That is what it's about.
that's right.
That's what it's about. So, we have to also step up to the line and understand that we come together to fight this never ending battle. It's never ending. The anxiety comes from me when I hear, about death, or people talk about conversations and they already want to put a death sentence on a person because they say they have sickle cell. Sickle cell is not the end of it. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, we're living. We're living. And I say we because I have the trait. So I also suffer. I also have anemia. My hands and feet get cold, So those are symptoms. Just because you have the trait don't mean that you don't have some of those same things with people with SSSC. All those things that go through, we're in this together. That's why we all are warriors. And, we need to understand that, and we need to keep on educating people. We have to.
Yes.
because then that way they're going to keep on telling us what we should do or how we feel. No, you don't know how we feel when we go into the hospital. No, he's not going to take fentanyl. I had to argue with a doctor. Oh, I'm going to give your son fentanyl. No, you're not. I have it in the chart. He has a plan. He's not like every patient. No patient is the same. So they have to understand that. And he was like, well, what is the problem? I said, you're not going to give my son something that I said that you're not going to give. I don't care if you're the doctor or not. I know my son. So we have to, and just imagine people that are young that don't know any better, and they are intimidated because somebody has a white jacket on and walks into a room.
Yeah.
That jacket doesn't intimidate me because you half the time you Google things and I can too.
Right.
I have
Absolutely.
major anxiety from things like that, hearing stories like that. I had a friend that was accused of bringing her child to the hospital for medication. And I'm not sure what that's about, but that's a child, and she knows what's best for her child. So she's bringing her to the hospital. It's not for medication, it's for proper treatment. They need to get that out their head because we don't come for medication. We come for the proper
Yeah.
treatment we need. So it's they need to really stop saying that. And because a patient knows what's best for them and what works for them, does not necessarily mean they're seeking whatever. You right, I'm drug seeking because the drug is gonna help me. So you want to play that game? We could play that game. That's my definition of drug seeking, is seeking proper care. So if that's what's going to help me, then yeah, I'm drug seeking because everything in here is a drug that you're gonna give me. So now what you want to do, because
Right.
it's a word game, and you
Right.
just we could play, you're gonna lose, but we could play the game together. So yeah, let's do it because it's ridiculous. You should not have to go through all of that to get the proper treatment. And it's like you just want help, you want to be out of pain. And it's like, I'm not even asking you to get me down to a 5, just get me out of a 10.
Right.
And if I'm on a medication at home, you know that I'm going to need a certain amount in IV form or whatever it is translated, but you can't just say I'm not going to give this cuz I'm not comfortable. Well, don't be a doctor, because that's what you're saying. You're not comfortable doing your job, get another job. Because now you're going to make your patients suffer because you are scared to lose your license that you already don't use the correct way anyway. So you either going to lose your license for not giving proper care, or you're going to lose it from, I never overdosed. I done took 10 milligrams of Dilaudid all at one time every 2 hours because the pain was just that severe until I weaned back down to what I would regularly take. And if you are that scared to give a patient what they need, it's don't take on the patient. Don't be a doctor. That's what you went to school to do, is care for people. And if my anxiety comes from having to constantly say that, I've had doctors tell me, you should be a lawyer. You present your case so well.
They
Yeah,
said
I
that to me
understand
too.
you. I'm like, so wait, you gonna give me a compliment, but at the end of the day, you're gonna say, but I'm gonna do what I want to do. So
Right.
get out of my room, because now you really gonna need security, but it's gonna be for you, not me.
Right.
Cause see, some's on you gonna be bleeding. I'm telling you, because it's just, that just is really upsetting to go through over and over and over again. So it's very discouraging. So the next time you go, it's like you've got this mindset. I already know what's gonna happen, but I'm
Right.
just gonna go anyway and just hope to God there's someone. I mean, even the nurses, and like I said, I'm in the hospital right now. Even nurses the other day were down here like, what are they doing with her? Why are they not doing this and that and this and that? Because I'm just screaming and yelling. I mean, they don't put this catheter in with no anesthesia. Who does that? Like
Ooh, they
that's not
went
gonna
way back to the old dot coms. You
right.
don't do that.
You don't, especially when you're already in a crisis. And so they don't get that that is going to add to the pain you're already in. So I'm yelling and screaming through the whole procedure. Then I get to the room, and without the doctor coming to ask me anything, once they switched off, he decreases my pain medicine. I'm like, the whole point of calling y'all was to increase it. So I'm literally crying the whole night till I just exhaust myself to sleep. That's why I say this right here is distraction therapy. So most of the time I'm doing stuff just to get out of that mindset, because you do get the depression and you do feel like, dang, I just want to die. Like I would never kill myself. And you don't want to die, but you just be like, death would be better than this. Because if I can't get the proper care, what, I don't want to be here. Because you get to a breaking point, and you just feel like there's no one with common enough sense. Which I know common sense ain't common, but where's the compassion? Like, you're worried about your license when there's things you could do. You could send me to the ICU if you that scared, but you don't deny the proper treatment. Like that, you, that's not a good valid reason to let a person suffer and just walk out the room like it's nothing, because you're gonna go home, probably get to play with your kids and the dog, and I'm sitting here miserable.
Right.
Like that's just ridiculous.
Can I piggyback off what Keisha said?
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
just piggybacking off what you said, Keisha, for us, King and swimming. And when we talking anxiety, talking depression, I remember being younger, dealing with these doctors back in the day, and they always told us what you can't do. You know,
Hmm.
they quick to tell you what you can't do. And but what one thing I do applaud you on, Keisha, that which it is, yeah, we know swimming do play a factor and it can trigger us, but you showing how to deal. You know what I mean? You show him how to maneuver around that. With, like you said, don't stand in the shade. You know what I mean? Stay in the heat. Let the sun beam on when you get out the pool. Because a lot of the kids that I mentored, they so used to hearing what they can't do. Before they even get to their adulthood, they already got shackles around on their dreams and things they want to do. You see what I'm saying? That causes depression. I remember
Mm-hmm.
years ago, I met a young lady, 13 years old. I was on a panel and she was telling me how she wanted to give up. She
Mm-hmm.
ready to die. Having them thoughts, it's sad when you hear a child have them type of thoughts due to sickle cell. And I had to let her know, like, you got to find something bigger than you. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You got to find something bigger than you, because when you're that young, and God forbid if you don't have a parent that know how to advocate.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid if you ain't got nobody to come swinging for you. You know what I mean? To come speak for you as a child dealing with these hospitals, because they will mistreat you to the third degree. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the depression start young and with us. You see what I'm saying? We get turned out so early in life, it's sickening.
Yes.
That's why I say it's crucial to have that 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 support as a child. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I take my hat off to you, Keisha,
Thank
because the
you.
fact that, like you said, that degree in your path was inspired by your
Mm-hmm.
son.
Yes, absolutely.
So most parents don't go that deep. Most parents won't even educate. They trust them. White folks, keep it a buck. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
they trust them with all their heart. Don't get
Mm-hmm.
it twisted. I know it's black doctors too. I get it. But they trust them. They trust them coats.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes them coats ain't got a clue.
No, they
You
don't.
see what I'm saying? They
We
doing
we
research
educate
too.
They
them.
don't have the answers.
Right.
They
That's
don't.
and
They
that's what I'm
don't
saying.
have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
We educate them.
Yes.
Every patient they come across is an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I done had doctors I call in, you know, 584-1000 to UC. And they tell me, well, D'Angelo, go up on your Oxycontin and your oxycodone. And I'm at home. We all know when you take a high dose of narcotics, your respiratory suffer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you can't go too far
Mm-hmm.
up. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, was y'all trying to kill me? Because
Mm-hmm.
you know for a fact, you telling me to take 90 milligrams of Percocets plus Oxycontin in the 80s. That's a lot of narcotic. And most people would take that and
Yes.
wonder why they might not wake up.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So the anxiety and depression, it starts early, is embedded in us. But the ones who don't know, that's why I love to educate the young folks, especially the young black men, the young boys that's coming from Children's Hospital and taking that long walk up Burnett to
Yeah.
UC. And I know y'all don't know what Burnett is, but Keisha know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you have to teach them how to navigate that system. Because Children's Hospital, yeah, they'll hold your hand to a certain extent. But when you get up there with them grown folks, you better know something about something.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Transition was very
It's
depressing.
easy to mistreat. It's easy to mistreat a population that sickle cell only affect. You know what I mean? So sickle cell don't affect the masses. So since it don't affect the masses, it's easy to experiment. It's easy to disrespect.
Right.
It's easy to tell
Right.
you, it's time for you to go home because you knitting. Or
Right.
it's time for you to go home because you see what I'm saying? So all this anxiety, man, this is a lifestyle. Like, this
Yeah.
is a lifestyle. Sickle cell is a lifestyle. And sometimes you have to live it. And what I mean by that is I done went to school for heating and cooling. I done did all type of things. I started my nonprofit back in 06. But I went off to do other things and I found myself back. You see what I'm saying? So the whole time, this was my calling. I tried to branch out and do other things, but sickle cell is a lifestyle. So I finally embodied it and living it to the fullest now. I put it on my shirt. I have a clothing line. I do podcasts. I speak about it. Years ago, I would never do that. You see what I'm saying? But I see the little homies that's coming up before me. Yeah, I mean, coming up before me, try to battle in sickle cell and living in some of these hoods in these neighborhoods. That's a whole other beast.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I said sickle cell is the common denominator of everything in life. And you got to know how to deal with sickle cell first, and then you better branch out. You see what I'm saying? But I don't mean to deviate, but but that's that.
Absolutely.
No, you didn't deviate at all. You made your point very clear. But for me, growing up, I was very anxious, and I only became anxious because of how people treated me. Otherwise, I was good at before I discovered I was diagnosed with sickle cell, and then when you have to tell people and you go to school and the kids' reaction, it just made me second guess myself all the time. I was like, just could not make a decision. I was always what do you think? What you think? What do you think? All that kind of thing, and never wanted to say the wrong thing because all eyes on me, or people were going to make jokes, or they were just going to be cruel. It was miserable. And then when I got older and I was living on my own, I was afraid to take care of just simple business, paying the light bill, paying the gas bill, because it's like I got to deal with people, and I would be flooded with this anxiety, like what are they gonna say? What are they gonna say about me? And I had to think, it was like, these people don't even know you, and you don't know them. All you need to do is just take care of your business. I had to have a serious talk with myself because I would be that full of anxiety, and just full of fear all the time. And it's like just trying to navigate through this world and find out who you are when you've been diagnosed with any type of genetic disability. It's just hard on you because it's like, who am I? Who gonna take care of me? Can I take care of myself? Can I live here? Can I move here? Can I do this? Can I do that? But I was glad to know, because I was born and raised Chicago. That's south side of Chicago. And in Chicago, we had a sickle cell program for youth. And I went through it from childhood on up until I was about 16 or 17, and I learned a lot. And then that transition over into adulthood was even more devastating because I got sick and they put me in that adult hospital. And I was like, get me out of here. It was like, where did I go? I went into the twilight zone. I was like, this is not right. This is not how I was treated. I'm not ready for this transition. And I don't know why we have to experience that. It is like night and day, literally. It's just so different when you transition from your pediatric care to your adult care, and it's like traumatizing.
Yeah.
And it's
But
like,
don't forget, we don't have doctors like the peds do.
Yeah.
and it's constantly switching. You get in good with one doctor that know you, and then they switch into another one because they're interns.
Mhm.
They're all there just
Mhm.
practicing, and then they get to their dream job, and then you get somebody else. That's anxiety driven right there, because it's like, who can you trust? You got to build a relationship. Hi, how you doing? What's your name? Was it? Ask the same stupid question. How long was you diagnosed with sickle cell? It's like
Have you
you
ever had doctors say, "What is sickle cell?" That drives me
Yep.
nuts.
Yep.
yeah,
What is
They
sickle
sure
cell? I'm
do.
like,
had that
okay, I need a
question,
new doctor. If you don't know what sickle cell is, you can't take care of me. I'm not gonna sit
No.
here and define
He's
it for you.
fired. He's fired.
exactly. And it's like the same question. It's like, did you not read my chart? Didn't you know I was coming? Like, I have a chart this thick. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
it's about this thick now. It's like I come to the same place. You can find out everything about me. At least you can know the basics, and then I can tell you the rest. But the other thing is that we were talking about, just to piggyback a little bit, that we got to talk their language.
Yep.
And the good thing that my mentor taught me about was, if you get the book, the National Lung and Heart Association, and it talks about sickle cell, how it is high risk, and how it is, uh, what number and what order it comes in. And so, like, sometimes when I go to the hospital, I either have that link, or I just show them, this is where I'm ranked. So I'm very high risk. I can't sit out here in this waiting room a long time, because we never know what is happening, in my body with my blood, because it's about that lack of oxygen, and your body parts are dying. That's why you're in pain, because the lack of oxygen. Your muscles, your joints are in pain because they're not getting fed. So that puts you in a high risk state. So it's like, just knowing what to say to them sometimes, on their level, like Keisha was saying. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I have my master's. I'm working on my doctorate. And I'm doing that because not only for my well being, but also I have a son with mental illness. So it's real. And so we need to know these things and know how to not just advocate for ourselves, but advocate for others, and reduce that anxiety, reduce that depression, and we should be able to live a good life, a good, happy life and fulfilled. We shouldn't have to be stressed and letting all these other stressors come in and affect us like this. So we got to learn how to create our own happiness at the same time, while we advocating and putting these people in their place of understanding what they need to understand to give best care, best practices. You talk about their policy and procedures and all that, you get their ear. You'll get
Mhm.
their ear, you
Yep.
know.
I think I've been dealing with depression and anxiety since I was a kid. Like, I remember getting sick as a kid, and my mother would be like, "Okay, you want to go to the hospital?" No. And so she'll take me to the hospital. And then they're like, "Okay, Aisha, you in pain?" And it goes back to those shots that we were getting in the
Mhm.
muscle. They were like, "Aisha, you in pain? Yes, you want something for pain?" No. Or I'll go, "Yeah, I want something." And they'll come with the needle. And I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." But as an adult, like, I'm always anxious. Like right now, I'm anxious because um on Tuesday I have a doctor's appointment, and it's with a new doctor because my
Mm.
last doctor decided to leave and go to another hospital. And I was real upset about that because we had a good relationship and she believed in me. She never thought I would, like, she got upset because the last time I was in the hospital, they kept sending the addiction specialist to see me.
Oh
So to
Lord.
have a doctor that truly believes your pain, it was a
Mm,
blessing. And now she's gone, and I got to start all over with someone.
Mhm.
mm,
So right now I'm anxious because I'm hoping that I don't have a doctor that as soon as they meet me want to go down to my narcotics. Um,
right.
that believes that I'm not a drug addict because I'm in the hospital a lot. Um, I'm low on medication right now. So I'm scared that if I
Mm,
run out, I'm gonna be in the hospital. Or if I do get a prescription in time, will my pharmacy deliver it in time?
mm-hmm.
Um, my
Yeah, it's a lot to
depression,
worry about.
my depression is situational. Like I'll get depressed like over family issues because I know a lot of us can relate that we're alone a lot because our family doesn't understand us. They think we just want attention, or
Mm-hmm.
they just they're tired of us always complaining or whatever. So I get depressed over stuff like that, not being invited to family events. I get
Mm,
depressed when I have to cancel something like I need to get my hair done. And I'm anxious about calling my hairdresser and making an appointment. And then the day comes and, oh, well, it's
mm-hmm.
raining outside, so I can't go outside. Or I'm back in the hospital again. And constantly doing that to people that give you favors and that are nice to you, they're not going to want to continue to give you favors and be nice if you cancel all the time, or every time they speak to you, they hear you, quote unquote, whining. So I
Right.
get anxious about stuff like that a lot. Even though people go, no, 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 it's all right. I'm thinking, yeah, in reality, in their head, they're saying, oh my God, here we go again. Because
Right.
I've been through stuff like that before where people just can't deal with my life in their life. Like not
Mm-hmm.
having friends because they don't want to spend their free time in a hospital.
Right.
So I I just try to do what I can do when I can do it. Um, I don't try to make any appointments with anybody. It's like, oh, okay, it's a nice day outside. Let's go do this. I only really go out because New York is freezing most of the year. So summertime is the only time I can really do things. Other than that, I'm locked up in the house or in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Right. Anyone else that would like to speak before we move on?
There's Kimberly.
Kimberly didn't
Going
talk.
once. I know, Kimberly, what's up? What you doing?
What's up? I'm having pain right now, so I'm trying to stay at home and not deal with the hospital because last time I've been there, I was discharged by my doctor. He comes in and asks me, do I want to go home? And I was feeling okay, but I still have pain, and my pain level was my pain dosage was an hour or so. So he discharged me. Then this nurse manager came in and told me, "Oh, you have to go." I said, I'm waiting for my next pain dose." "Oh, yeah, discharged."
Wow.
That doesn't mean to
Your
stop giving me pain meds, and
No.
I don't do that every time. So she called security because I didn't want to leave. I said,
Yep.
I'm not leaving until I get my next pain dose.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get at my element, and because I was on the phone with my boyfriend at the time and my kid. I'm saying I'll call you back because I have to talk to these securities and this nurse. I'm saying, okay, since you want to call security, I have Craig, who's customer service, and some other person I can talk to because he's planning a sickle cell floor, and I'm not dealing with this. Oh, okay. I'm gonna call security. I I made two guys cry,
Hmm.
and I said I was telling them things to say that, like to make me get my element. It took me months to calm down. I have anxiety just because of that. I was traumatized, and when I went to the hospital the next day, oh, how are you? No,
Are you back
no,
again? Didn't you just leave?
no, because my friend, also has a problem with the nurse manager or whatever, and she wanted to go and show off that she's not in the hospital every time she's in pain. So how are you? No, don't do that. You guys need to put your health care professionals in training. That's what I'm telling.
I've had somebody say to me, "Oh, I have sickle cell, and look, I'm a doctor." And I'm like, "Well, as a sickle cell
Mm-mm.
patient, you should know that we're not all alike. Like, I don't know anybody like me.
No.
Like, I'm in the hospital all the time. I take medicine every 4 hours. The most medicine I've ever been on was 120 milligrams of morphine 3 times a day. I mean, of methadone 3 times a day with morphine. And I was in school looking like a dope fiend, but they still wanted to go up on narcotics. So it seems like every time we don't want to go up, that's when
Yeah.
they want to go up. But when we want them to go up, then they go down.
Right. Crazy.
That's not
Yeah.
nice because my
That's,
health
that's letting
is more
work.
most important right now because I have my son and
Mm.
he has sickle cell trait, and when he tells me he's in pain, I be freaking out because I give him like ibuprofen, Tylenol, and that's about it. And oxygen. I
Hmm.
don't know what type of pain he's feeling right now. I don't want to go to the hospital because I'm not dealing with nothing like that.
Right.
You have to be safe. You got to still be safe than sorry, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's so risky. I mean, I used to wait and wait and wait and wait until I couldn't wait no more, dragging
That's
myself
me.
to the
yes,
emergency room. Just wait and wait. I don't want to go. I'm gonna take some more medicine. I'm gonna take some more medicine. I'm gonna wait 4 more hours. I don't want to go. And then
yeah,
I had to learn that was hurting me too. That was hurting me too. So now it's like I may think for maybe an hour now. I might be like, okay, I gotta get up and go. I can't just stay here and suffer like I used to. I'm 55 and I can't do that anymore. It's like that pain, I just can't tolerate it as long as I used to when I was younger. I was tough. I was tough when I was younger, but now older, it's like, oh, I'm going. Take me to the hospital now. I don't want to. I don't want to be in that kind of pain and just wait and wait and wait. And that's why I always set my intentions when I go to say, hey, please let me run into some good nurses and good doctors. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Like the time I went to ICU, that was a time I ran into a nurse who wouldn't order blood work, and I was trying to convince her, you got to order the blood work because that's the only way the doctors is really going to know what's going on with
yeah,
me. I said, I have a lot of things that's going on with me right now. I have this infection. My feet are hurting me. I never just had pain penetrating in my feet like it was. I never experienced having just pain in my feet. Both of them. Couldn't walk, got this virus, um, and I needed to know what was going on with my blood work, and she wouldn't order it. So I was quiet. I just Okay, let me just wait. I waited till I saw the ER doctor, and I said, she never ordered blood work. So I have sickle cell, and you need to know what's going on with my hemoglobin and everything else, my ferritin, telling them what they needed to know. Okay, well, I'm going to roll you back out there, and I'm going to order the blood work. Now, this is an extra step that could have been avoided if the lady would have the nurse would have did it the first time. And sure enough, you know, she did the blood count low, and other things was going on. But needless to say, they rushed through that, wanted to get me out of the hospital. My roommate at the time took me away, after they discharged me. They had given me too much medication because I told them that I don't need a lot, because they were trying to give me something for pain for my feet. I said, if you want me to walk out of here, get out of here, you're going to have to give me something for this pain. I said, I don't need a lot. I need something just to take off the edge. And they grew impatient, went on and got 2 milligrams of Dilaudid, and that's too much for me. And I asked them because I was still coherent. I was like, how much is that? And they was like 2. And as she was saying it, she was pushing it. And I was like, that's enough. And I passed out. I passed out. And I don't know how I got home. I don't know how they got me out the hospital or whatever. And all I remember is my friend telling me that I wasn't looking good. And I told her that if I'm not better by tomorrow, take me in again. Took me in the next day, and I woke up in ICU because I don't even know from when we were going what happened. I don't know when I got there. I don't know how I got out of the car. I don't even know how I got in the hospital. All I know is I woke up in ICU with the kidney specialist over me talking about I'm going to have to go on dialysis. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
it's coming too. I was like, oh, okay. And
Has
then,
anybody ever um had a doctor in the emergency room say, I'm not gonna give you a shot. I want to start you off on your home meds?
Yep.
Yeah.
When they do that, I'm like, no, I've already done that multiple times.
Duh.
I've doubled and tripled my dose before coming
right,
in.
that doesn't
Right.
It
work. Why
ain't
are you
gonna
going to
work.
start me
I'm
there?
not taking it. You can
Right.
Why
order
are you
it, but
supposed
I'm
to
not
start me
taking it.
there?
You
But
can
needless to
order
say,
it,
I
but
just wanted
that's
to
not
say
what I'm
I'm off.
taking.
I'm off dialysis now. I got off in January, thank goodness. But
That's
I
good.
went
God.
through. I
Yeah.
went through that, and I'm better for it. So I'm just telling
Yeah.
you, it's like we go through a lot, and we are. That's why we're warriors,
Yeah.
because we don't stop. We
Yes.
keep whatever we go
Yes.
through. We meet the challenge and we overcome it. So
Piggybacking
we
off
Grow
of that,
through it. We
I
don't go through it. We grow through it.
yes, we
Yeah.
do.
exactly.
Piggybacking off of that, I'm going to tell you that there is a great, big, large difference between being sick and having something in your body that's debilitating.
Oh
Because
yeah.
my anxiety, now that I'm 57 and I've never been debilitated, I would go in the hospital. I would, I'd come home. I wouldn't even come home. I would go in the hospital, get my pain medicine. Half an hour later, go to work, work a full shift. Not even like, okay, nah, but this hip business, let's talk. Real talk. I have to have a hip replacement, and oh my gosh, that is where it's affected every area of my life. There's so much stuff. I've been waiting for this since last November. I've been walking around with 2 fractures in my hip since November, waiting on them to get my surgery. It might be done in August or whatever, but that's whatever. But just adjusting to the many things I cannot do
Mm-hmm.
now is totally different than and requires a different mindset than going in the hospital, coming out, and getting back to life.
Right.
I feel like I'm like a 2-year-old again that I'm having to learn. affects every possible area of my life. There are stores I can't go into because they don't have the little scooters. I can't take
Mm-hmm.
the bus because I can't walk to the bus stop. I'm on the bus all the time. You know, I've ridden the bus one time since November and I'm used to riding it every day. Going to the store, just so many things that it affects. This
Mm-hmm.
is
Right.
where my anxiety is right now. And this is my thing that I have to move through and learn to adapt to. And oh, we're gonna wear my therapist out over this one. Yes, we are, because this is taking too long. We are talking almost a year, but I mean, I understand pandemic,
Nothing.
but come on, y'all, it's it's a lot. It's a
It's
lot.
Yeah.
nothing. I've needed to get my
I
shoulders replaced
understand.
for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten it done yet. Both of my shoulders.
Mine. We're just not gonna do my shoulders. Nope, nope. Uh, not
Hey,
yet.
hey, ladies, it's been a pleasure, but I have to leave. But I ain't want to just cut it off. Somebody was talking.
All right. Thank you,
Bye,
D'Angelo. We're getting ready to
Danielle.
call it.
Been a pleasure. Looking
I
forward to talking
appreciate
to
you
one of y'all.
so much.
I look forward to chopping it up with each one of you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
y'all. Take care.
you. Bye.
Okay. Um.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So before
Bye.
we go, because it's been about 2 hours, I want
Yeah, that's right.
everyone, if we could, just say one thing,
Just I know if I go to the
um,
hospital tonight,
one way we
they're gonna
are
tell me not to eat nothing.
thriving
Then I
in spite of
can't get
sickle cell.
medicated
Okay.
when I go there.
Mhm.
So I will start, and then we just go down. Brittany, uh, Lakeisha, feel free to talk about your son. You can talk about how you thrive as a family, whatever suits you. And we're just gonna go down the line, and can we just briefly explain one way that we're thriving. Personally, I had a light bulb that went off. I have had several aha moments dealing with sickle cell, but most recently, I want to say within the last year and a half, I realized that it was time to get in front of sickle cell and not behind it. I felt like I was chasing behind it, trying to, maintain myself in my life and trying to separate myself from it whenever I could. But really and truthfully, I needed to be the one in front of it. And the only way that I saw it was possible was to take my health into my own hands. Now, when I say that, I still have a doctor, I have a hematologist, primary care, I have all that still. But my trust is in God and in myself. So I changed my eating habits. I am I'm half vegetarian slash vegan. I changed a lot of the things that I listen to. I changed the way that I speak to myself. I changed the way that I speak to others. Um, I changed the stuff that I would put up with in my life in general. I don't want any negativity around me. And if there is, it just can't stay. It has to go. Now, I've also learned to appreciate myself, give myself grace, and also give that same grace to others when they may so need it, because everyone is human, no one's perfect. And whether that means I give them grace and they're still in my life, or I give them grace and I gracefully exit and I love them from a distance, that's just what has to happen. But how I thrive is I just took charge of my life. I made sure that my daughter sees me thriving. She sees me working. She sees me going hard, not just for myself, but for others, because it's bigger than me. And I know that. Um, and personally, I've made it my personal mission to really help people, especially sickle cell patients, understand the doctors don't have the answer. You are the answer. You are the savior that you're looking for. You know, you have to save yourself. And I've done a live about it, but truthfully, that's how I feel. You know, the things that you're eating, the things you're putting in your body, the things you're listening to, the things that you are repeating daily is what's preventing you from being your best self. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not always perfect, but I think that I can lead by example and show that it can be done. And that's all I've been trying to do so far. So yeah, that is how I thrive with sickle cell in one way, a couple ways in one. Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay. I thrive because I'm still here despite all I go through, which is a lot. I'm like, I don't. It's only through the grace of God I'm still here. And so I can only every single day I wake up use that as an opportunity to keep going and seek the positive out of the negative, which is if there's nothing else I can do, I can take what I've gone through and what I'm going through and be a better person for it, advocate better because I am going through it, have gone through it, and so I am the best one to fix the problem. I advocate, I teach, I run a organization, Slay the Sickle Cycle. I host support group meetings, and I also did a mental health panel uh, conversation, which is on my page right now. Last month, because it was Mental Health Awareness Month last month. Um, so yeah, mental health is my second baby. Sickle cell always comes first, but mental health is so important. And with all I've been going through lately, I just have to, put a spotlight on that and just say that, focus on your overall health, not just the physical, but your mental, your emotional, spiritual, all that. Um, they all go hand in hand. And yes, it's discouraging, but at the end of the experience, you come out on top and use it to, better yourself and help others. And so that's what I'm doing, Slay Queen.
Okay. All right. Lakeisha, would you like to go really quick?
Yes, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. What's wrong?
Okay.
Okay, y'all gotta go. King doesn't feel good. This is him on the phone. I gotta go. I
Okay.
gotta go.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Okay. Aisha, would you like to?
Um, well, right now I'm happy because as of today, I've been out the hospital a whole month.
Woohoo.
And that's a long time for me. Like when I get out the hospital, I get really anxious that I'm gonna go right back in. I don't know how long I'm gonna be out or whatever. So being out a whole month, I'm proud of myself. But I feel like I thrive just for the simple fact that I keep my independence. No matter how I'm feeling or what I'm going through, I try to remain independent through everything. Like I live alone. I don't have nobody to pay my bills. When I'm in the hospital, I speak up for myself. I speak up for others if I have to, even though people don't like that. They tell you to shut up and mind your business. Um, I do what I can. Like right now, I'm in pain, but I felt this panel was really important. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to eat better and exercise even just a little bit. Um, that's pretty much it.
All right. Stephanie, I the it changed once
Mm-hmm.
Keisha left,
Um,
so now I'm bouncing back around. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
I thrive. Yeah. This is the longest I have been out of the hospital in, I cannot remember, and it's like 8 months. That's one way. The I'm switching to a different section in my job at the bookstore, which I would not have had the confidence to do before. I always saw myself as just a cashier and I'm just, and that's it, but never would have had the courage to actually step into doing more complicated stuff that requires a lot more tech work because we all know being tech is a thing. And I think that I'm thriving in stepping into advocacy. Um, it's something I wanted to do for a while, but it is something that I love to do as well. So that's how I thrive.
All right. Mama Fifi.
And hizzy. Oh wow.
Okay.
Oh, I want to before I tell you what I strive on. You see this? This is a hemoglobin tester. You can check your hemoglobin. You
Yeah, where do you get that from?
just like you do with
A blood sugar.
like blood sugar, but this tests your hemoglobin. I got it from Amazon online. If you need, because I have to get blood transfusions from time to time, and I have to check to see if it's low, my hemoglobin, and it lets me know when I'm in good numbers, and it lets me know when it dropped down. But anyway, that's just something to share. I thrive because I stopped wondering or worrying about what other people thought of me. Um, I made up my mind that I was going to do something for me, find something that I love, and work it. And that was when I decided to become a sex coach. And before I got to be a sex coach, I had found the school for marriage and family therapy. So I was on my course to be a marriage and family therapist, actually dealing in psychology before I got to marriage and family therapy. I had a double major in psychology, and then I wanted to understand my blackness after a study. So that means I was a double major, and all of that I've done. And then can you mute? There's somebody mute. And all of that I've done for myself, whether I would work in my field or not, I felt like nobody can take my experience away. And so now I have my own business. I see clients, and that keeps me thriving. I love helping people. My population is women who suffer from bad relationship, trauma, domestic violence, and also sickle cell warriors. So that's what I do, and I'm happy doing it, and it keeps me going. So I'm glad to always be here for you, Shay, and I'm here for anyone who needs help. You can look me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You'll find me.
I do be looking in your DMs.
I need lots of help.
Well, we already got you on the books. You know that.
But you don't know how crazy I am yet.
I agree. She crazy. Let me stop. Not really, but I'm gonna sound nice today.
Well,
I love you, Aisha. Okay,
I can hang with the best of them.
Yeah, I know, because everybody knows deep down I'm really not all there. I'm a couple tacos short of a combination plate. The lights are on in the mall, but ain't nobody shopping. So I get it.
She can book without pages.
Well, I got pages. I got pages. I scribble all over them. But okay, Kimberly, we got one more, and then we're gonna end this. What say one reason, how one way that you thrive?
I'm trying to start the sickle cell campaign in Miami. That's one thing we need to do, brush up on, because I think the doctors are there, and to tell them that they're just being rude to, and not compassionate towards sicklers when they're in pain, and the fact that you have to wait a whole 24 hours to go get paid meds when you're in the hospital, that's just crazy. One thing I am trying to change and get my politician involved in is to, how do I say this? Start the campaign in several communities right now. My
Okay.
community is Pompano Beach first, then onto Delray and all that, and throughout Tampa. I just need people to be more knowledgeable towards sickle cell. Sorry, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I think that that's a great way to thrive. Thrive. Sorry, my brain is like, hello. Um, I just want to say thank you to all you ladies. I want to thank every person that came on this panel discussion and had input and was very transparent about their experiences. This is one way to really help our community because we know mental health awareness is just as important as sickle cell awareness because we go through so much with this illness. It is hard to not go through so much mentally because of this illness. Just life in general takes you through things. So I appreciate you all. This is basically the first of many mental health conversations that I really want to have. It will be different topics, but this was a great start. You all were amazing. So again, thank you so so much. Um, if if you guys want to, say anything really quick before we go, now's the time. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to leave people off with my positive words of wisdom.
I have
Just
one thing
join
to
me
say.
next. Yeah, just join me next Saturday at 1 p.m. for my show. I'll make sure you get the information for my live. So
Okay.
that's it.
Um, I
Thank
know.
you, Shabreon, for putting this together and for for focusing on.
You're muted. You're muted.
Hold on.
Okay. But
Um,
Um,
I know there are some people out there, including myself, who also get anxious and depressed with people comment on their appearance. Like I've had 5 strokes, so one of the things I suffer from is my left eye goes outwards. So people are like, "Oh my God, you're cross-eyed." Or they like to point that out. And like if I'm getting sick, my eyes do that more, and I can't control it. So people like to point out a lot that I get cross-eyed, and I'm like, you shouldn't do that because that hurts people's feelings. Or how a lot of us lose our teeth due to the medications that we're on. Like I'm starting to lose some of my teeth. I'm 35 and I'm afraid of becoming Gumby. So, like if you're going through these things, just know you're not alone. Like there's plenty of people out there that's going through maybe not everything you're going through, but a collection of things you go through. Like I felt like I was alone for many years until I found some of the groups on Facebook, and then I hear other people talking about the things that I've gone through. And although it's sad to say, misery loves company, and guess everybody's not
you're
alone.
not you're not miserable. We love you.
All right. Anyone else want to say something before I let us out of here? Okay. Well, I want to thank the audience. I want to thank all of you at home for watching. Thank y'all for participating and commenting. Thank you for sharing. You're amazing. And if you didn't share and you watching this, please share this video. You might be sharing it to someone who really needs to hear what we had to say. Okay? So, otherwise, I'm going to leave you all with my positive words of wisdom and make sure that you please try to live by this, even just a little bit, you know?
I
So,
do.
without further ado, I would like to say start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Until next time, folks, peace.
Bye.
Bye.